Welcome to Fun Facts Daily, your source for just the good stuff. Monday through Friday, we're bringing fun facts and news you can use, all carefully curated to uplift and inform. So give yourself a break, relax, and learn something awesome in just a few minutes every day. Hi everyone, I'm Kyle Wood. Today we're going to be learning about the mysterious and magnificent Nazca Lines, the giant ancient drawings located in the desert plains of southern Peru. They were created by the Nazca people about 2,000 years ago. Common estimates will say these designs were made somewhere around 500 BCE up until 500 CE. But before we get into all the facts, let's warm up our brains with a little challenge to see if you can tell fact from fiction. Consider this. For decades, a popular story circulated that the Nazca Lines were so incredibly large that they were completely invisible to anyone standing on the ground. The claim is that the ancient people who made these never actually got to see their own artwork because the shapes can only be recognized from high in an airplane or a spacecraft, which obviously wasn't around back then. What do you think? Is it an actual fact that these designs were made by people who couldn't even see what they were making? Is it really impossible to see the designs while standing on the Earth? We'll find out at the end of the episode. Now for your word of the day. Today's word is geoglyph. That's Geoglyph. A geoglyph is a large design or motif produced on the ground and typically formed by clastic rocks or similarly durable elements of the landscape like stones, stone fragments, gravel, or earth. Essentially, it's a massive piece of art where the canvas is the planet itself. While the Nazca Lines are the most famous examples in the world, geoglyphs can be found in various deserts and landscapes across the globe, ranging from simple geometric shapes to complex animal figures. The word comes from the Greek words ge, meaning earth, and glyph, meaning carving or to carve. So, literally, the word translates to earth carving. It's a fitting description of the Nazca Lines as the ancient artists didn't use paint or ink, they physically altered the surface of the earth to leave a lasting impression that has survived for millennia. Time for your daily high five, our top 5 fun facts about the Nazca Lines. Number 1. The lines were created using a surprisingly simple subtractive technique. The ancient Nazca people created these massive drawings not by adding material to the desert floor, but by taking it away. The ground in this part of Peru is covered in reddish-brown pebbles that have been oxidized by the weather, but underneath those pebbles lies a layer of light-colored, lime-heavy soil. To create the lines, the artists carefully removed the top layer of dark stones to reveal the bright white ground underneath, creating a stark contrast that makes the image pop against the landscape. This process required immense planning and labor, but it didn't require high-tech machinery or alien lasers. Archaeologists have found evidence of simple wooden stakes and strings that were likely used to map out the straight lines and complex curves over great distances. By following these string grids, teams of workers could clear away the stones with precision, essentially sketching giant white lines on a dark red earthboard. Number 2. The Nazca Desert acts as a perfect natural preservation chamber. You might be wondering how drawings made of dirt and rocks have managed to stay intact for so many centuries without washing away. The answer lies in the unique geography of the Nazca Desert, which is one of the driest places on Earth. It receives almost zero rainfall year-round, meaning there's no water to wash the soil away, and the temperature stays relatively stable, which prevents rocks from cracking due to a freeze-thaw cycle. Furthermore, the ground is protected by a unique aerodynamic phenomenon that shields the lines from the wind. The dark gravel on the surface absorbs a lot of heat, creating a cushion of warm air near the ground that acts as a shield against strong winds. This means that the lines aren't blown away by sandstorms. Instead, they're basically frozen in time, looking pretty much the same today as they did when they were first carved by those ancient Nazca artists. Number 3. The art gallery of the Nazca Lines includes a massive zoo of animals and insects. While there are hundreds of straight lines and geometric shapes, the most famous geoglyphs are the biomorphs or animal figures. This high desert zoo includes a hummingbird that's over 300 feet long, a pelican, a condor, a monkey with a swirling tail, and even a spider. These creatures are drawn with a single continuous line, meaning you could theoretically walk the entire outline of the animal without ever lifting your feet or crossing your own path. What makes these animals even more fascinating is that some aren't native to the dry Nazca Desert. For example, the monkey and spider are species typically found in the tropical Amazon rainforest, which is separated from Nazca by the massive Andes Mountains. This suggests that the Nazca people were travelers who traded with distant cultures or made long journeys bringing back stories of these exotic creatures to immortalize in the sand. Number 4. One of the most curious figures etched in the Nazca Desert is known as the Astronaut or the Giant. While most of the figures are animals or shapes, there's one distinct humanoid figure carved into the hillside that's captured a lot of people's imaginations. It depicts a human-like shape with large, round eyes and one arm raised up as if it's waving hello to the sky. Because of the bulbous head shape, modern pop culture enthusiasts nicknamed it the Astronaut, fueling many science fiction theories. Of course, archaeologists have a different explanation. They say it's simply meant to represent a human deity or shaman, maybe wearing a mask or a headdress used in religious ceremonies. Unlike the other figures that are flat on the desert floor, this one is on a slope, suggesting it was meant to be seen by people walking along the ancient paths on the ground, acting as a guardian or a waymarker for travelers. And our fifth and final fun fact for today: the Nazca Lines were likely created as part of an elaborate ritual asking for water. For years, people speculated, thinking the lines might have been some sort of astronomical calendar used to track the stars, but recent research points to a more essential purpose: water. Nobody can survive without water, and in such an incredibly arid environment, water was really their most precious resource. Many of the geometric lines align with underground aquifers, which are natural sources of water hidden beneath the earth. The theory is that the lines served as ritual pathways where people would walk, dance to pray to their gods for rain and fertility. By walking these sacred paths, the Nazca people were physically enacting their prayers, asking the mountains to send water down to the dry valley. It wasn't just art for art's sake. It was a beautiful but desperate plea to nature for the resources they needed to stay alive. Now for some news you can use. As you go off on adventures in Nazca or anywhere else in the world, it's often good to have a mindset to leave no trace behind. You want to be respectful of every environment you're in, whether it's obeying the signs in a museum or being a good steward of the outdoors. A general rule of thumb is pack it in, pack it out. This means anything you bring into nature, whether it's a sandwich wrapper, an apple core, or a piece of camping gear, must leave with you. Even organic items like orange peels can take months to decompose and can disrupt the local wildlife's diet. So keeping a small trash bag in your backpack is a simple trick that makes a huge difference. Additionally, leave no trace means leaving the environment exactly as you found it for the next person to enjoy. We often feel tempted to pick beautiful wildflowers or stack rocks to build little towers, but these small actions can have big consequences. Picking flowers prevents them from seeding for the next year, and moving rocks can destroy the hidden homes of insects and small animals. By observing with our eyes and taking photos rather than taking souvenirs or altering the landscape, we ensure that our forests, deserts, and parks remain wild and wonderful for everyone. Now for the moment you've been waiting for. At the beginning of the episode, I asked if it's true that the Nazca Lines are only visible from the air. Well, that's a fallacy. While the most famous photos are taken from airplanes, the idea that the lines are invisible from the ground is just false. In fact, the lines were officially rediscovered in 1927 by a Peruvian archaeologist named Toribio Mejia Esepe, who was hiking on foot in the nearby foothills. He spotted the strange lines running through the valley below because many of the figures are situated on or near slopes. The ancient Nazca people didn't need flying machines to check their work. They simply had to walk up to the surrounding hills to get a vantage point and ensure their geometry was correct. The creation of these lines was a masterpiece of mathematics and surveying, not ancient alien intervention. Experimental archaeologists have proven that a small team of people can recreate these figures on the ground using just ropes and stakes to create a grid system. Later, in the 1940s, a historian named Paul Kossak and a mathematician named Maria Reich did fly over to map them fully, but they dedicated their lives to studying the stones and strings on the ground, proving that human ingenuity and a really good view from a hill was all that was needed. Now, I hope you enjoyed learning a bit about the Nazca Lines with me today. Be sure to tune in every weekday for even more fun facts. Fun Facts Daily is an Airwave Media podcast. It was written, recorded, mixed, and edited by me, Kyle Wood. Thanks for sharing a part of your day with me. Be sure to follow Fun Facts Daily on your favorite podcast app so you can keep the good stuff coming your way every day. And if you like the show, please do me a favor and leave a kind rating, review, or just tell your friends about it.